Sports Night proudly brought to you in association with Dunedin Casino.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Sports Night, your home of local sport here in Dunedin on Channel 9. I'm your host Glen Stuart, 36 episodes deep and we're winding down for the season sadly, and what a year it has been though in sport. We've got a great best of show lined up for you with highlights galore, and the Spates Shield is going to be live in the studio with us as well as some of the players from Alambra Union. First though, let's take care of some business with some of the week's sporting news. Just 2 weeks from their stunning 2-1 victory over Wellington Olympic in the Chatham Cup and having won last week 4-1 against Northern, Caversham suffered a letdown against South Canterbury in the Soccer South Premier League. The Timorese, from Timaru of course, pinched an early goal as Cavi were exposed at the back, with Martin Dirtswagger claiming the reward. On their home pitch, you had the feeling that the informed Reds would find a way to equalise. However, despite dominating possession, a goal proved elusive as South Canterbury stayed tight in their half. Reece Henderson had a couple of good opportunities in the first half, but Fred Morgan was solid in goal. In the second half, it was Croydon Wheeler who was the hapless striker unable to score. Wheeler had 3 efforts on goal, the best of which beat Morgan but was cleared off the line. Cavi put everything into finding a goal, but to no avail. 5 minutes from time, the sense of frustration culminated in Robbie Dealey being sent off for some choice words to the linesman. Roslin picked up 2 1-0 wins last week over Northern and Green Island. There are still 5 games to go in the Soccer South Premier League, with Roslin trailing Caversham at this stage by 2 points. The two teams will meet up for the first time in the competition 3 weeks from now. To rally action, and Emma Gilmore has slipped to 4th in the New Zealand Rally Championship points race with 150 after the Hawke's Bay Rally. Brett Martin has 156 in 3rd, Sam Murray is 2nd with 163, behind Chris West's formidable 237. After captaining University Blue to their 11th straight Premier win, Beth Mallard has been named in the Black Ferns along with Claire Richardson and Shannon Willoughby from Otago. A quick look at senior men's basketball on the weekend. South Pacific Magic were way too strong for OBHS, 96-69, behind 26 points from Jamie Barnett and 17 from Sean Tilby. St Kilda edged out the Andy Bay Falcons 74-73, with 17 coming from former Nugget Dean Rusk. Callum Brooks had 19 for the Falcons. Also on the weekend, the Otago Gold Rush finished 3rd in the CBL, beating Canterbury 81-79, thanks to 21 from Susie Bates. The Otago B team has been announced, and as you look at some of the names, a good indication of the depth of Otago rugby. Bruce Carville will coach the side in a competition structured just like the Air New Zealand Cup. Now, some players to look out for. Silao Vaisola has had an excellent season at hooker for AU. The Razor Rayo Fisa has been in superb form also for Southern, leading the team in tries scored. Willie Kolo'owhai was unlucky to miss out on selection for the A squad. And what tremendous depth at halfback in the province, with Ryan McCarthy and Scott Cowan playing for the Bees. Also, Luke Herden features in that team. The B squad will also be bolstered with as many as 5 A-team players being rotated in every single week. Sticking with rugby just quickly, also the ORFU has released a couple of players to join North Otago for their 2nd Division campaign. The list includes lock Seko and halfback Dean Moyahu from Green Island, also lock Dane Gray and number 8 Isaiah Namoa from Southern, and Shane Carville from Pirates. And club rugby action from the Town and Country competition, Harbour wrapped up the title with a week to spare with a resounding 41-5 win over Crescent, giving them a 6-point buffer over Zingaree Richmond. The Dragons also had a big win 34-3 over Lawrence. Now, University B were able to draw on some talent from the A's team, including Chris Noakes and Alex McIntyre. However, Kaikarai were still too strong. And the Bees were in with a sniff early in the second after Matt Tangney scored to make it 17-10. However, winger Lockie McClellan broke the game open with a bit of pace for the Demons, who went on to win 31-10. Nice try in the corner, that one. And of course, Otago's Air New Zealand Cup campaign began against Counties Manukau with a narrow escape up at the sort of renamed Mount Smart Stadium. Callum Bruce and Nick Evans looked a good 5/8 tandem as well, with Bruce in the number 12, and the defence was solid all game. A reasonable debut also for coach Steve Martin. Well, that is the latest from the past week, but we're going to take a look at some of the best sporting action in Otago this year as seen on Sports Night. Otago United had a great season with Terry Phelan at the helm. Phelan boasting an FA Cup with Wimbledon and 40 caps for Ireland brought plenty to the table. OU achieved its first ever playoff appearance as well, sadly though going down to Wellington on penalties, having been reduced to 9 men in that game and scoring in the 110th minute to take the lead before conceding shortly after. Now, in their 75th anniversary year, the Swamp Rats from Green Island did it again with their 5th national club cricket title. Their 5 titles have amazingly come from only 8 appearances. Bradley Scott took home player of the tournament honours in what was a great year for him, including New Zealand A selection. They're going to have to build a bigger trophy case at the Sunnyvale Club Rooms. Another feel-good story was the Otago Volts, their first semi-final in the state one-day competition in 10 years, despite being racked with injuries and relying heavily on non-contracted players. The Volts also tied for second in the 4-day format, but missed out on the final due to a tie-break with the Stags. We brought you 6 games exclusive to Sports Night. Thrilling action in the Otago Rally, the first leg of the NZRC, as well as the Dunlop Classic pulling in big names from overseas. The highlight had to be the renewing of the rivalry between Chris West and Richard Mason. After 2 flat-out days of racing in 13 stages, it all came down to the final sprint with just 0.2 of a second between them. West would hold on by the narrowest of margins. Also exclusive to Sports Night, the best NBL regular season game ever. A triple overtime thriller, 244 combined points, the most ever since the league switched to 10-minute quarters. Miles Pearce set a league record with 28 rebounds, and Brandon Fuller poured in 42 points for a franchise record. And if that wasn't enough, the fire alarm went off in the 3rd overtime, forcing the crowd to stand outside in the pelting hail. And that was what I was doing that night. And here at Sports Night, we also boast a feather in our hat with the national media scoop of the Andrew Blowers injury. On the day of his withdrawal, the national news media ran with the story, and so did we, except we had the exclusive footage. It was such a scoop that TV3 bought the footage from us for the following night's national news. And finally, on a lighter note, Sports Night also had the privilege to premiere Haggis, an independent skate film produced by Dunedin Knights' Jeff Campbell and Adrian Verco. No mere child's play, these guys take their sport very seriously, and the national skate scene has noticed, heralding the film the best indie production of the year. Well, it really has been a great year of sport, and it's been a pleasure to bring it to you here on Sports Night. Something a little different. While it doesn't happen often, we're a very professional outfit here. We thought we'd show you some of our best bloopers.
Plenty more to come on Sports Night. Later, NBL action, the Nuggets and the Rams. Jeff Wilson joins us in the studio, and a wrap-up of all the weekend sporting action from Dunedin.
All right, that just about does it for this week's show. I hope you've enjoyed... Yeah, we plan those things really well, don't we? Yeah, okay, all right, we're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere, though, as the AU boys have come to show off their shield right here on Sports Night.
Yeah, hey, yeah, check it out now. Holla, yeah, what's going on now? Baby, we love it, they say we bugging, baby, we rugged, fix it.
Welcome back everyone to Sports Night. Now, along with Grassroots Rugby here on Channel 9, we've been the home of Dunedin Club Rugby, and if you've been watching, you will have seen these guys coming as outsiders and taking the Spates Shield with some dazzling Auckland-style rugby, if you don't mind the analogy. Of course, I'm talking about Alhambra Union, and we're very happy to have 2 of the major players in the team. Well, actually, one of them from in the team, Captain Matthew Clutterbuck, and the coach, Mike Moyahoo. Thanks for joining us, guys.
No problem.
It's nice to have you here, and if we can get a nice close-up of that as well. This is what you're really here for this evening, isn't it? The Spates Championship Shield. Mike, it's been going since 1885, you were saying?
Yeah, it's a new thing for us, and looking at the Shield, it's pretty special.
And Matt, as captaining the side, it must be a complete pleasure not only to win it this year, but to bring the first Shield back to the side for 67 years.
Yeah, it's definitely an honour. It took a couple of days to sink in. Like at the start, as soon as the whistle went, it was a buzz, a bit of a relief, really, a weight off my shoulders, really, to win the game and get it over with. Then sort of by Tuesday, it's pretty special for the club to get this Shield back for the guys like Wheels and Mel. Those kind of guys been around for years.
And Mike, as a coach as well, to start the season, as obviously you weren't favourites, but did you come out thinking, yeah, we want a run to the semis, we want to take out the trophy? What was the actual impetus for you at the start of the season?
Oh, I think we sat around and decided we wanted some goals, and one of them was to make the final and hopefully lift the Shield, but we just really took each game at a time and didn't really too focus on the end until we just worked one step at a time.
Well, that one step at a time, one game at a time thing seemed to work pretty well, and if we take a look at some of the footage that we have got of not just the final couple of games, but actually over the whole season, there's some great shots in there. Now, one of the major things was the slow start for you, and that probably actually spurred you on a little bit. The first up, a bit of a loss, and then you really started to roll on through the rest of the season on the back of those losses.
Oh, I think that was a bit of a growth thing for us. We were sort of new coach, new players, so we just sort of grew as the season came along, really.
Had a bit of a different game plan, and everyone had to adapt to that. So that definitely took a few weeks to get that going.
Didn't seem to take too long for the boys. Looking at a lot of the footage here, there are a lot of sequences of play, a lot of phases where the ball goes through a heck of a lot of hands, but you always seem to have support players around.
Yeah, we sort of worked on that, like guys always being in support, backing up. Your job's not finished when you pass the ball, it's, finished when play breaks down, whatnot. So we try to work on forwards and backs linking.
Yeah, we try to use the ball, keep the ball, because that's where it's sort of the base of the players,
A real turning point as well must have been that win against Varsity A.
Yeah. It's a game we started pretty well, but we were well behind the 8 ball at half time.
Gave the boys a lot of belief, I think, that game, coming from, I think it was 27-6 down, and to pull it out and win it sort of made the boys believe, yeah, we've got a good chance this year.
Yeah, 24 points down, and first time to beat them in 5 years as well. That's a real monkey off your back.
Yeah, so that was a buzz as well for fans and players.
Now, Khan Hesketh, we've been talking about him on the show quite a lot, and there's a lot of replays of him scoring tries. How much did he actually add to the whole running of the team, though?
Oh, I think he added a lot. Just his intensity that he plays the game at, and he's still young, but he's got sort of experience in a way in terms of being a premier player for a couple of years and been in a few teams like the Sevens training squads with New Zealand and now the wider New Zealand Cup team.
You obviously took a guy, put him on the wing. He's been playing a lot of number 7, number 8, Mike. How do you transfer somebody that quickly into a great winger?
Oh, I don't think you do. I think he's still got a bit of growing to do, and we had the same with Stephen Sasagi as well, from loose forward to wing. But, they're special players. You can actually do things off them. They can create something out of nothing. And I think that sort of added with the flavour of the team. So it was pretty
Must be a different change as well, going from in the loose forward trio to moving out to the wing. You're still in the loose forwards at number 6, Matt, and obviously you don't have as much room to move, and that's probably one of the important
I don't think I'm ready for the shift quite yet. Work on that speed and we'll see what happens next year, but I've got to imagine you'd be a lot different. You'd sort of get the ball, wouldn't know what to do with it to start with, but he seems to have picked it up.
I imagine, Mike, getting Matt out of that number 6 jersey, you'd have to buy him a fair few beers first of all, because you've been playing amazingly, and actually some great news as well. You've been named as captain of the team of the year for the competition.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Great to have a good leader like that as well, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. I think as the year went along, we all grew together. As the management team and the team, and much grew into that position as well. But you sort of have to earn your respect, and I think he did that through the year, just by the way he played and some of the decisions he was making.
Well, it was a great season for you. A little bit of a sloppy start. You'll be looking towards next season. Hopefully, Matt, you're all a bunch of young guys.
Yeah.
You're confident of keeping all of those guys, or at least most of them, in the team?
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 guys will leave, but otherwise everyone will be back, I think, next year, and keen to defend this trophy right here and give it another nudge. Yeah.
Well, it's a fine-looking trophy. It's been around since 1885, and Matthew Clutterbuck, captain of Alhambra Union, and Mike Moore, who the coach. Congratulations and thanks for coming in this evening.
Cheers, mate, no
pleasure, thanks.
Yeah, definitely well done to those guys. And from rugby, we go to something a little bit different, to motorsport. We are kind of closet motor heads, petrol heads in Channel 9 here, and we thought we'd put together the year's best. Plenty of action there, of course. The Otago Rally, the hill climbs that have been going on, the mud plugs, the Festival of Speed. A lot of good motorsport action in Otago over the last year and hopefully more in the next year to come. Before we go to the break, we've got lots more still to come, but first a look at our trivia question. It's a good one this time around as well. Twice the county's Manukau Steelers have beaten Otago in NPC rugby for their only wins of the year. Can you name the years? The answer in just a moment. Welcome back everybody to Sports Night. Now it's time to check up if you got that answer right for our trivia question here on Sports Night. In 1991 and 2001, Counties Manukau beat Otago for their only win of the season. And amazingly enough, Otago went to the final both years. Go figure. And hopefully we'll go to another one. We went to one last year and it was a good start against Counties Manukau. Now, if you've been watching, you'll know that we've also been loving bringing you the action and the extended coverage that we've had of the Otago Nuggets campaign. Not too many wins in the season, but some exciting basketball nonetheless. For the best of, we've put together a highlights package like no other.
Once again, back is the incredible. The incredible. Stop looking, stop looking, stop looking, listen. Listen. This is the music.
Yo.
Can't nobody stop me. Can't nobody stop me. And that's the bottom line.
Great highlights in that Otago Nuggets season, and I'm already looking forward to next season. It's actually really not too far away. We've got the coach Rick Castle back, which is nice, and hopefully most of those players as well will be back on deck. Now, to quickly round up this 36th episode of Sports Night, it wouldn't be a show without bringing in our senior rugby analyst and commentator and even player, Aidan Summerfield. Always a pleasure.
Good evening.
Now, let's quickly talk about something that we've been talking about probably every single episode you've been on, when we've been consulting and coming up with Highlanders and Otago Rugby. Is Toby Moreland going to become an All Black now that he's starting ahead of Chris Smiley, a la Jimmy Cowan?
Well, Toby Moreland is a very good player. I think it takes more than just being ahead of Chris Smiley being All Black, but one would wonder. Jimmy Cowan was ahead of him in the Highlanders, and we all knew Chris Smiley was a better player, and Cowan's wearing the All Black gear now. You know, Toby Moreland is a good player, but take a bit more than that.
I suppose we've been a little bit mean to Jimmy Cowan over the season as well. He's an exceptionally good halfback, and in the All Blacks jersey recently, he hasn't actually been doing a bad job, albeit coming behind Byron Keller and Piri Wipu in the subs bench.
Yeah, well, rugby is a game of taking opportunities, and Jimmy Cowan, yes, we can be mean to him. They don't get Channel 9 down in Invercargill. If we expand, we have to be a bit nice to them. But you take opportunities in rugby, and he's done that.
Now, talking about taking opportunities, let's briefly talk about this Otago competition. The Spates Otago team that's just started, Counties Manukau on the weekend, 23-19. Counties Manukau actually played pretty well, but what about the combination between Nick Evans and Callum Bruce in the 10 and 12?
Well, very good. Some people have been surprised about Callum Bruce playing second five, but that's where he has played his rugby, and that coupled with the fact that he's very adaptable and very focused young man, that's going to be a good combination that will last for a few years. But rest assured, if anything happens to Nick Evans, Callum will slot well back into first five again. All
right, so just quickly before we run out of time, Canterbury are your guys, of course, and they beat Hawke's Bay quite convincingly. Are we going to do the same thing to Hawke's Bay at Carisbrook on Sunday?
Yeah, maybe not by the 45 points here, but it will be a convincing win. The Otago team will get better week in and week out, and those lower base teams, because they've come out all guns blazing, but they'll struggle as the season wears on. All
right, we look forward to that game as well, 4:35, of course, at Carisbrook. Aidan Summerfield, it is always a pleasure. And that is pretty much all that we have here on Sports Night. Our, condolences, I suppose, to Aidan, because he won't be back with us for the next couple of weeks, and neither will we. But thanks very much to him turning up, as well as Olivier for putting together the show, all of the techie crew in here, and Tracy Chambers, who's been joining us with a lot of great shots as well from the rally and the rugby. That is all of the season, though. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Dunedin Casino, too, for their support this year, as well as you for making it possible, because if you weren't there watching, we wouldn't have a show to give to you. Don't forget to go along to the Brook on Sunday, as we said, 4:35. It's Hawke's Bay taking on Spates Otago in the Air New Zealand Cup. I'm Glen Stuart. We look forward to hopefully being back with you later in the year. On behalf of all of us here, good night.
Sports Night was proudly brought to you in association with Dunedin Casino.